Greetings and welcome back to PhotoJoseph's Photo Moment. This is the Q&A part of the show where we try to A your Qs, and this can be anything about what we just talked about, the M42 to Micro Four Thirds adapter we've been playing with, or anything else you guys happen to want to know. If you're watching live, get your questions into the chit chat room now. Make sure you put @PhotoJoseph in front of it so that I know that you've got a question for me. Let's just see here. Let me pull up the first question here and pull up the chat. Here we go. Burns, Metabones has Speedmaster trademarked. Do they really? Somebody should tell these Chinese companies because they're calling it Speedmaster. And it's actually Speedmaster with a space, although so does Metabones. So I don't know. But anyway, there you go. There you go. Yeah, maybe, okay, should I stop saying it then? So I can't call it a Speedmaster. What do I call it then? If I'm going to try and respect their trademarks, what should I call it? What did they call it? What did they call it? They called it just an adapter, didn't they? It's not a clever name. The Lens Turbo 2. Well, there you go, it's the Lens Turbo 2. The one we're going to talk about on Monday is simply called an EF to M43 adapter. It doesn't have any kind of special name on it, so anyway. Well, sorry about that, Metabones. I didn't mean to steal your trademark. I didn't do it. I just reading what's on the box. Anyway, let's see here. Hey, Car Galaxy, greetings to you. Trevor says speed boosters take a larger area of light gathering and refocus onto a smaller one. So you end up with more light and a faster lens, also increases the field of view naturally. It's incredible, right? Magic. Magic. That's what it is. Car Galaxy, speed boosters, my favorite topic on channel. Zhongyi makes some great ones. Hey, well, that's exactly what we're doing right here. That's the Zhongyi. You haven't tried this one? Well, it's time to try it. There you go. And Car is also saying that the Viltrox really gives the Metabones a run for its money. Oh, interesting. I haven't tried that one yet. Ryan, write that down. Viltrox. I'm going to have to check that out. Burns, what a terrible location for the red dot, referring to the tiny, very hidden red dot that you can barely find that's under here for aligning it with your camera. I know. Crazy, but there you go. All right, there must be, Lucas is asking, is there any noticeable loss of sharpness? Remember, guys, put @PhotoJoseph in front of it so I know I'm just happening to see some of these as we go by. Noticeable loss of sharpness using this over not using it? Not that I saw. Given that these lenses aren't insanely sharp to begin with, but I did show you some of the more close-up shots, especially the hands. They're nice and sharp, especially in the center. Yes, you're going to get softening around the edges. I haven't compared whether you're getting more softening because of the adapter versus without it. I'm just not pixel peeping these photos that much. This is, and I think this is worth mentioning, for a lens like this, a combination like this isn't about getting perfect, sharp, perfect pixels, perfect color. It's quite the opposite of that, right? It's about that character of the lens. Yes, it might be a little bit soft. It might be soft around the edges. It might have some smearing to it. It might have some, I don't know, just weirdness, some even chromatic aberration, which usually you don't want, but sometimes maybe that's not so bad. It just adds character into the shot, and you're doing it analog instead of adding it digitally, which is always fun. I'm all for doing things analog, doing them real, for reals, let's call it for reals, and as opposed to doing them in post when you can. It's just, it looks natural, it looks more better. It's fun that way. That's what I like. Anyway. What do we got here? People talking about the different ones. Yeah, focal reducer, that's what I should call it. Call it a focal reducer. Okay, we'll call it a focal reducer. Burns says, just an FYI, the stream today had no stutters or buffering, both Twitch and YouTube. Yeah, well, I figured out what was wrong. So if you're wondering what he's talking about, the last few shows we had some weird stuttering, buffering. I figured out what was wrong. When I did this show in 4K for 1 or 2 episodes, and I had cranked up the bit rate to 16 megabit. And somehow, I know I changed it back to 6, which is what we streamed this show at, but somehow along the way when I was doing something with the other Pearl and so on, I got it back to 16. And so for several shows it's been running at 16, which was choking YouTube. So that's why we were getting the stutters. We were choking YouTube. So now that that's fixed, we're back to being on point, as they say. Okay, good. So that was awesome. Anything else? Let's see. Nothing else coming up in the chat. You guys know what the deal. If you got any questions, get them in there now. If you're not watching live and you have questions, then put them into the comments, and I'll do my best to address them. No promises, but we do what we can. Sometimes we even pull them up in future shows, which is always fun. Okay. I guess that's it. All right, guys. Yeah, a simple fix. And I talked to my ISP. They said they are very close to being able to roll out Gig into my area. They said something, though, about installation costs and having to share that with one of the neighbors. So hopefully that's not going to be too bad, but I would like to have Gig. That'd be nice. Then I'd finally get everything backed up to Backblaze that's like constantly churning. Okay, that, my friends, is that. Monday's show is going to be, do I have cards set up? I do have cards. I can do this. That is going to be Monday's show, the Canon EF mount to Micro Four Thirds. I'm quite excited about that, actually. I think it's going to be very cool. And then coming up on Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific, we're going to be doing the show about master pedestal and highlights and shadows setting inside of your Lumix camera. And that's going to be definitely interesting and intriguing. And then we're going to be talking about best case and best case practices for working with your hard case storage for your SD cards. I got a little tip for you that even the manufacturers don't talk about that could save your cards. Okay, that's it, folks. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in today. I appreciate your time, and have yourselves a great weekend. It is a Friday. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.